Okay, today I'd like to give you a quick introduction to the game of disc golf. There's a lot of people out there that don't know exactly what the game is, so I figured I'd give you a little introduction, tell you a little bit about the game. Okay, so disc golf is very similar to regular golf. The only difference is instead of hitting a ball in a hole, you're throwing a disc in a basket. It has to come to rest in the chains or in the basket. You've heard people refer to the game as frisbee golf. Really, it's not. It's not frisbee. This is a disc, very technical disc, fast flying. You don't want to catch it. You could get hurt if you tried to catch this disc. So it's not. It's not like playing frisbee. There are different discs. There's drivers, mid-range, putters, different discs that do different things. We'll get into all that at a later date. Now I just kind of want to familiarize you with the game itself. So what I'd like to talk about is I think four things that really matter to get you started. First is the grip. The grip is very important. People kind of have different variations of the grip, but what they say to do is, professionals that I've seen, I'm not a pro, but I've been playing a long time, so I kind of have an idea what's right and what works and what doesn't work. So mainly you want to get your thumb on top for your long shots, and then your fingers underneath the disc, somewhere in the center. I kind of pinch it like this, but and then your throw is going to be like this. Okay, so the difference between this and throwing a frisbee, back in the day when you used to throw the frisbee at the beach, you kind of like take it and curl it up and throw it like that. And well, this is a much different delivery than that. You pretty much want to throw that out the window, everything you learned about throwing a frisbee, because this is nothing like it. What they say is it's more like a lawnmower pull, like starting a lawnmower. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to reach back and you pull through, and then at the end you snap it. So it's a reach back, pull through, and snap it at the end. And that's how you get the best flight out of the disc, and with that grip. Okay, when you get into approach shots and putting and that kind of thing, your grip may vary. When I putt, I actually put a finger out. When I have my short approach shots, I have a finger out as well. So driving is when you're throwing a full shot, and it's not about throwing it as far as you can. It's about throwing it with proper flight and letting the disc do what it's designed to do. So that's what you need to learn. And then you need to learn what disc you use for different shots, and it's all about shot making and execution. So you see a shot, you envision the shot, and you say, okay, I know what disc is going to work for that, and then you throw the shot and execute it as best you can. So one of the things that I try to remember through a round of golf is posture. Posture is really the most important thing, especially when you start to get tired. And I'm always talking about this with my daughter when I'm playing with her. It's because she leans, and I do too. When I get tired, it's like, oh, that was an old man shot. But what happens is, what you're trying to do is put a straight, level flight on the disc. And sometimes you'll vary it to, if you go against the rotation or the normal turn of the disc, it's called an anhyzer. And if you go with the normal turn of the disc, it's a hyzer. But what you're trying to do is fly the disc as best you can and start off evenly. So posture is a good thing. And this is one of the things I like so much about disc golf is that you're throwing from a upright plane and you're twisting and coming through, but you're on an upright plane. So I've never had back problems while playing disc golf. My back used to kill me playing golf because you come through with that swing like this and your whole back is torqued and you're supposed to keep your head over the ball and all that. Well, disc golf is different. It's actually it's a good exercise for the midsection, and it doesn't put a lot of like difficult torque on your back. So you come back and through, so back and through. A lot of people will start with a step up to their shot. They'll kind of come up like this and then throw like that. Personally, I developed something that actually I got from my daughter, kind of like a pitcher pitching from the stretch. I found that in rough terrain, it was actually worked better for me. I had more controlled shots, and I just basically plant my feet and turn one out a little bit, but I'll come back like this and then throw it through. And I get just as much distance as I ever did when I was throwing with a step. So there's people out there that do it that way. Not a whole lot of people that do it from the stretch like my daughter and I do, but I found that that's what works best for me. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw a drive here. I haven't warmed up or anything, but kind of give you an idea how a drive flight should go. The natural curve of my disc throwing left-handed is going to be from left to right. I'm actually a right-handed player, but I had to go to left hand. I injured a bicep a few years back, so I play left-handed now. I'll talk about that later. But if you're throwing right-handed, the natural curve of your disc is going to go from right to left. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a drive here, and hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. So since it's going to go left to right, you can see the basket straight away. I'm going to kind of aim for that big tree on the left over there is normally where I go, and then it should come back out to the middle. And that's a pretty good shot. So aim for the tree, came right back out. Looks like it's pretty close to the basket. So we'll go ahead down there, and next thing I'll talk about is the approach shot. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about an approach shot. Approach shot's a little bit different because it's a finesse shot. So you're trying to judge your distance to the basket. And when you take a lot off of your shot, it's going to tend to curve quicker. So this is an approach disc. It's a little bit different. It's not as aggressive as the driver. There's all different types, but when I get close, this is just an old buzz I throw here. But with this, I'll want to aim left and see if I can kind of die it right at the hole. I did have a better disc that I liked, but a few times ago I threw it in the leg, so I'm kind of stuck with this one right now. But what I'm going to do, you can see the basket, and my drive's down there, so maybe we'll get to that. We'll show you putting when we get to the drive, but I wanted to stop here to give you an idea about the approach shot. With the approach shot, the two things that I remember is I actually do put my finger out on an approach shot, and with an approach shot, I never take my eyes off the basket. So I don't go back like this and then through. I'll keep my eyes on the basket, and normally my feet aren't doing a whole lot, like the drive coming way back like that. I might do a little movement, but you want to keep everything pretty straight and keep focused on your target, which here is the basket. the natural flight of this disc, it'll come to the left a little bit and then should kind of die right at the basket. So we'll give it a try. And that's a pretty good shot, puttable. Okay, so here's my drive off the first hole. Pretty good drive. Um, Definitely got a shot at a birdie. Um, Putters are a little bit different. They're softer, a little thicker. They're meant to hit the chains and grip the chains. Many different types of putters out there, and many different styles of putting. Uh, Mainly, what I do when I putt is I try to make sure I got a level flight on the putt. So I'll come down like this and then give a little rock back. Don't want to get too complicated, and then just spin it off right at the basket, kind of like a thumbs up at the basket. I do put my finger out for the putts. I've seen people putt like this with feet apart. I'm not very good at that. Sometimes I do it when I'm behind, side of a tree or something. I have not really mastered that, but everybody's kind of got their own little variation of putting, and that's okay. It's whatever your style is. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this putt here and kind of give you an idea how I throw it. Main thing is releasing straight at the basket or a little bit. I'll pick a spot, a little bit right, few chains right of the pole and in the middle of the basket there, and then try to curve it back in a little bit. So here we go. All right, not perfect, but it's in. So there you go. That's a birdie on the first hole. Okay, I just wanted to show you this hole and kind of give you an idea, a little bit elaboration on the driving techniques. Um, this hole here, if you look at it, if you could see it, the basket's on the other side of the water. So my disc is going to fly left to right. So I'm going to want to bring it out over the water and then bring it back at the basket. With that, I'm going to use a disc. It's a destroyer. We'll go into the numbers on the disc at a later date, but this particular disc is called overstable. So the overstable disc kicks really hard with your natural turn. So this will kick hard left to right, and I throw this disc to make sure that I keep it out of the water. And even that doesn't always work. So let's see if we can pull this shot off. Another thing I wanted to tell you about the posture. I was talking about the posture. If you think about it, if your posture is good and you're throwing the disc level, you're going to have a nice level release of the flight of the disc. If you're slouching at all, even a little bit, you think you're throwing it level, but with your slouch, you're going to be releasing on an angle, which is going to kick your disc harder with the natural turn of the disc. So, okay, with that, let's see if I can pull this shot off. It's hot out here. Most of the time when I throw this shot, I end up right because it's hard telling your mind to throw it over the water because you naturally just want to think, avoid the water, don't go in the water. But you got to trust your shot and you got to trust what the disc is going to do. I'd say more often than not, I go right, but occasionally I'll hit a good shot over the water and land it close to the basket. And that's really what the shot requires. But most of the time, my mind can't get that and just wants to throw it right. So let's see if I can do it. There it is. It's a pretty good shot there. Brought it over the water and landed it. I'll have a putt for a birdie. Okay, so there's a little introduction to the game, little overview of the different discs. This is just very brief and just to kind of give you an idea what the game is all about. I'm on the first hole here, so I'm going to go ahead and finish out this round, play 18 holes, and hope it goes well. So when you're out there, mainly you're trying to better your own score, or in my case, I'm trying to break par. And this course always seems to have my number. I get like real close. Maybe I've shot even a couple times, normally a couple over, somewhere between even par and 4 over. And like I said, I'm not a pro. And I'm playing left-handed where I'm actually right-handed, but I love the game, and I just love getting out here and playing. And in future episodes, I'm going to have you go along with me on my rounds, and you can get an idea of what it's like to get out and play 18 holes of golf. It's kind of fun. You never know what you're going to come up against. So with that, DG Pops is out.